We're here in London at the Greenwood Pub alongside two Vikings absolute legends, Cris Carter and Jake Reed, two parts of the Three Deep, which I know is one of the reasons you guys are out here. Part of the drop for your merchandise with the Three Deep, which is super exciting. But before we even start rolling on this, you're cracking up, laughing, you're yucking around over here. You still got it, right? I mean, you say he hasn't changed. What about him? What about him hasn't changed?
He did this coaching clinic, and and typically he would have me doing something like that. I would set it up, and then he would go out and instruct the kids. Mm-hmm. So he did this coaching clinic, and a lot of the kids had never experienced football before.
Right.
And then I started talking about from a league, what the league is trying to do from a branding standpoint, and each one of those kids is a customer. Jake's like, I like that. I like that. I like that right there.
Yo.
So he's like, I'm going to steal that. That's what he told me.
That was a nice clinic up in Newcastle.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
With the flag football, NFL rolling out, the Minnesota Vikings. So we just teach the kids how to play flag football, and they did a great job.
Yeah, what's it like to be together, doing things that are so unique now, post-career?
I mean, me and Jake are the same. We've been best friends ever since we
that.
started playing with the Vikings, on and off the field. I think our partnership, there were certain things that you need as a wide receiver, and we just had a great partnership, very, very different from one another. Families very, very close. Like, we had a great experience with the Vikings and in the NFL.
Yeah, more like brothers. I can say things to him that a lot of people can't say.
Okay.
He can say things to me a lot of people can't say to me.
Was that some of the stuff he needed?
I think I probably needed a little bit more when I was younger.
Yeah.
And he needed more on
But
the
when
field.
I go off, though, he's the only one going to get me back
I
on
had
earth.
to calm it down.
Both of them very necessary.
Well, you guys shared a special bond for years, even before Randy Moss became a part of that Three Deep trio. You had both had 1,000-yard seasons leading up there. Why were you two so successful as a pair?
Well, I think it's coming down to not being selfish also. Because I think some games I knew when I was going to get the ball a lot. And some games I knew Cris was going to get the ball a lot. So when I knew when they were bracketing me, sometimes I knew I had to just clear out. I was a decoy. I had to run that route like I was getting open and not be selfish. I think we wasn't selfish with each other. And sometimes we come back to the huddle if I don't ran caught two or three balls in a row. And if I'm tired, I get to the huddle, they call a play for me. I look at Cris, hey man, I need you to take this one. I'm beat. He's like, okay, hold there and run the clear out. Get out the way, I got it.
Right.
You know,
It's a partnership, and you definitely have to make sacrifices. And me being a little bit older than Jake, and already, what a lot of people don't know is I was starting in Jake's spot before Jake got there. So when we got Jake, I knew that Jake's body type and mentality was more suited to be the X-boundary receiver, even more so than myself. And then I moved to the slot and moved to the Z. So Jake had his own little thing over there, and just being able to see that, and then I was able to give him a lot of pointers on how to play that position to make him real, real comfortable. So then once I moved, he had his own way to keep developing.
Yeah.
So when Randy came, Jake was playing a spot that Randy couldn't play. It's too taxing of a spot for him to play. And then the slot is too hard for him to play mentally because of all the adjustments. So he was a perfect Z receiver with all the speed. And Jake and I knew immediately because of his talent. Jake came down to Florida. We all worked out together. We knew immediately he was going to be a huge part of what we were doing.
Yes. And Randy added a lot to our offense. Me and Cris, like I said, have 4 straight 1,000-yard season, but adding a guy like Randy just really amplified everything. You just couldn't double me and bracket Cris in the slot and leave Randy one-on-one.
Right.
Yeah.
So defense had to really start playing more balance. You had to really pick your poison. Who you gonna double? Who you gonna bracket? Because you leaving someone open.
Right.
And so, I think that was the great thing about having 3 great receivers like that. But I tell you what, me and Cris had some awesome time when it was just us two now.
I bet. I can tell. Well, you guys found the identity of like a high-level receiver, which at the time it was you too. I mean, what was it like to be able to be such a part of creating that identity for your position?
Well, I think both of us individually, because the way I came to the Vikings, I was trying to reestablish myself, as a player. And then Jake, there was a lot of self-doubt in Jake. Could he be a wide receiver? Because he started into the league, got hurt a couple times, had problems catching the ball. We got his vision and everything changed and strengthened. He had a deficiency in one of his eyes that no one knew. He went to a specialist in Seattle.
Yep.
He had all these exercises. So what people don't see is all the work
behind the scenes.
Yeah, before Jake Reed to become Jake Reed.
Yeah.
And for Cris Carter to become Cris Carter. And all along the way, we both had to make sacrifices. So I think that he appreciated what I was doing, and I greatly appreciated what he was doing.
But why do you think Minnesota was such a great place to become a better receiver, to live up to that height?
Well, look at the history of Minnesota receivers.
We used to talk about that.
Yeah?
Just the history from Sammy White, Ahmad Rashad, Anthony Carter, Cris Carter. Then it come
Steve Jordan.
We had guys like Hassan Jones, guys I looked up to.
Yep.
Then I came in the league. Jake Reed. Now here we come. Randy Moss. Okay. Then we go just long, Percy Harvin. Then you got
Stephon Diggs. Adam Thielen.
Alan Thielen.
And then now the guy.
Right.
So
That dude.
Yeah. So Minnesota have a history of drafting great receivers.
Yeah.
It just have a history of it. So, it's like, you go to the Vikings, you can be a great receiver. That's got a history. And we got one receiver out there now about to break my record, or tied one of my records, about to break all my records.
How do you feel about that?
Well, this year I told my wife, I just keep getting knocked all the way down. After a while, I'm going to be out the top 10. But I tell you what, though, this young man we got right now, he stay healthy, he can come out to a lot of records.
Yeah.
And that's great. Records are made to be made, and they are made to be broken.
Right.
So, but like I said, the history of the receivers in Minnesota, we got a long list of great receivers, and I think the time that I came through with me and Cris, I wouldn't say this the greatest time, but we had a blast.
No, for sure. What were some of the things y'all talked about, the legacy of receiver in Minnesota?
One thing that, I remember because he was there with Hassan and Steve Jordan and Anthony Carter. So he was just a baby. And he was like, man, I ain't going to never be able to play here. Like, how am I going to ever get on the field?
Right.
So he was playing special teams. And I was like, bro, you're going to be a starter here, man. Like, just keep getting a little bit better, man. Just keep getting a little bit better. Start taking better care of his body off the field. And then once he had worked out a couple of those injuries, it was just like he couldn't be denied, that position. But I do remember us being on the field and Ahmad Rashad show up, and we'd be like, man, we got to do something today. And then when Anthony Carter, when he retired, we was like, oh, bro, we got to set that thing on fire today.
Yeah.
So I know on Sunday when JJ sees us, he's going to feel the same way and really try to put on a special performance, which he tries to do every week, but every once in a while you get a little extra motivation on game day.
Yeah.
Well, you see Justin Jefferson, now Jordan Addison, who had a great game last week and has been great thus far. And now Jalen Naylor's really coming into his own. How much is it a foreshadowing or maybe the next coming of a 3-deep with the current wide receivers on Minnesota's roster? Jake's like, I'm letting you take that one first.
Let you take that one.
Well, honestly, I don't think football will ever see what we did. All right? There's only 3 sets of Hall of Famers on one team. That's San Francisco, Jerry Rice and T.O. That's Pittsburgh Steelers, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and myself and Randy Moss. But none of those guys had a Jake Reed. None of those teams had anyone that had comparable numbers and the consistency that Jake Reed had. So I don't try to put any pressure on our guys. Justin Jefferson is a special receiver. Now, we've done well drafting receivers. And I do believe that number 3 can be a superstar. Like, I do believe that he has the ability to be a superstar. But in doing that, the Vikings did the most important thing. They signed Justin to a long-term contract.
Right.
So now he don't have to worry about his money. He can keep developing these other partnerships with these other guys. But I do believe that they can definitely do what Jake and I had done. Have multiple 1,000-yard seasons.
Yes.
And we just want them to win 2 more games than we did. All right? We got to the NFC Championship. We want them to get through that, and then that next week.
That's next week.
So we don't root for catches, and we're rooting for 2 more wins than we had.
That's exactly.
When you hear Cris talk about they didn't have a Jake Green, how does that make you feel?
Well, good, but I'm the blue collar guy. I was the blue collar guy on the team. I just wanted to work. I didn't want to do all the interviews. Me being up here, I'm real comfortable now because I got my partner sitting next to me. So I'm really comfortable now. We about to line up and do some things. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
But it feels good to play with 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
To have those guys there. And not only that, though, like I said, Cris taught me a lot. Before Randy got there, he taught me how to, like I said, eat right, eat more vegetables. That's why you cramping.
Eat more vegetables?
Eat more vegetables. You're not eating the vegetables. You're cramping every week.
Yep. Hydration. We're roommates on the road.
Yeah.
So
turn that light out.
Yeah, it's time to go to bed.
It's time to go to bed. Yeah. So just to hear them talk about me in conversation feel good. I know that I was a part of their success.
Yeah.
I'm a part of Cris' success. I took a lot of heat off Cris. Not saying Cris Carter wouldn't have made it to made it in the Pro Bowls or made it to the NFL Hall of Fame if I wasn't there. But I will tell you, I took a lot of heat off him the years that I played with him. So I would say that.
Jake know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
And he knows I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah.
Like it was truly one of the greatest times in our lives. We were able to share together 24/7, on and off the field. I mean, we got some stories.
And I feel like this. Is Cris Carter
make sure Jake don't turn the Cat Williams on us and start dropping tea. Okay? That's the first thing I got to London. I said, hey, bro, don't be Cat Williams, drop no tea on us.
I mean, there's a lot of tea here.
He got it.
Tell all the business. Tell all the business. Well, you know what? Like I was saying, I feel like this. Cris Carter got a yellow jacket. I got a yellow jacket. I may not have it physically in my possession, but I feel like I had something to do with it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a proud
Matter of fact, you said that. I'm going to work on something.
Oh, okay.
If you give me a yellow jacket, it better have a G on it for Gremlin.
Got you. Let me call somebody.
I love it. I feel like you might have a few connections for that. Yeah. Well, 3 Deep obviously was something that people called you guys, and there's that iconic poster of the 3 of you holding the ball. It was a giveaway. When you were doing that shoot, any thought crossed your mind like this is going to be such a phenomenon, like an iconic photo?
No, I think we were just having fun. I never in my wildest dream thought this poster would have the life and the legs
people
that it
still
has.
Almost 30
years in their
later.
houses.
Yeah.
No.
I would have never thought that. We were having fun and tossing the ball around. I remember it was kind of cold in the little shed when we were doing it. We were like, man, let's get this over with. We were like, oh, it's a giveaway, no big deal. But I tell you what, that poster really have a lot of legs and a lot of life. And I love it. It's taking on a whole life of its own.
Yeah, I don't think that we didn't look from a marketing standpoint.
Right.
No.
But me and Jake knew how good Randy was from the first day.
From the first day.
Like, we knew. When Jake came to Florida to work out, it was like, okay, bro, it's on now.
It's on.
Like, because we knew what we had done, and we knew that because he has skills that we don't have. And to compliment all 3 of us, it was something football had never seen.
It's amazing.
And to walk on the field with next to Cris.
Now, I'm the short one. I'm 6'2" and a half.
I mean,
playing in the slot.
Yeah.
And to walk on the field with me, Cris, and Randy, the old picture to see us together and walk by the DBs as they warm up and see the intimidation.
What I used to tell you, Jake, Get big, man. Let them see you.
Yeah. Hey,
Let them see you, Jake.
yeah,
Swell up.
yeah, and see the intimidation on their face. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Man,
They're
I'm
shaking.
telling you, sometimes, look, they'll be working out, and we walk by real slow. We'll do an intentional walk by real slow. They stop. They staring and looking at coach. Say, hey man, let's go. We're like, yeah, y'all about to get this business today. Y'all about to get. So that was like, I still remember those moments. It felt good, and we walked through that like we were giants, and like they knew what they were getting into.
Yeah. Well, you guys are giants to us, giants to all Vikings fans. They are so
Thank you.
appreciative of the two of you and what you've done for this organization. We thank you so much for your time here, and
Well, thank you.
I guess now you can just go enjoy meeting all the fans here at the pub because it's pretty packed
It's
behind
packed.
us.
Look.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
I'm overwhelmed to see all the
Yeah.
Viking fans here in London.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time. Nice
All right,
to meet
thank
you
for
as
having
well.
us. All right, thank you.